All right, we're skipping chapter 3. We're going to chapter 4. We want to get into some rates and proportions. And that's what chapter 4 does. Um, as you can see here, chapter 4, section 1, A through E. So these notes are going to cover the whole section. The essential question for us is, what are rates and proportions, and uh, how do you solve them? Okay. Well, we need to get a couple terms out here first. Okay. First, what is a rate? Okay. A rate is a ratio that compares two different quantities with different units, like miles per hour, okay, miles per gallon, feet per second, those kinds of things. Okay. Um, we break that down into what we call a unit rate. Okay. How much for one? So a simplified ratio with a denominator of 1. Like if you can buy 2 apples for 50 cents, what's the unit rate? Well, it's 25 cents because they're 25 cents a piece. Okay, so the unit rate brings it back down to one thing. An example here, 55 miles per hour. You're going 55 miles in 1 hour. Okay, you're comparing miles um, to hours. Sorry about that. Um, so those are the two units you're comparing, and you've broken it down into 1 hour. Okay, that may have come from the fact that, let's say you've driven 165 miles in 3 hours. Okay, what's the unit rate? How fast are you going in 1 hour? 55 miles per hour. Just divide the 3 into the 165. We'll get into that some more. An example here. Find the unit price. It's $2.12 for a 4-pack of mixed fruit. How much for one? That's the unit price. When you're looking for how much for one, that's your unit price. Okay. So when we say $2.12 for a 4-pack, we're looking at cost for the number of them, how many of them. Okay, and it's $2.12 for 4. So how do you simplify a fraction? Top divided by the bottom. 2.12 divided by 4, things we've already been doing. Okay, you get 53 cents for 1. So that's your unit price. 53 cents for 1. That's your unit price right there. Okay, that's what unit price is. We'll look at a lot of those during the next week or so. Okay. Secondly here, what is a proportion? Okay. A proportion is two equal ratios. Two equal ratios, like 1/2 equals 2 over 4. Okay, they're equal. Here, 16 over 2 equals 32 over 4. Does it? 16 over 2, does it equal 32 over 4? Well, that simplifies to 8, and 4 goes into 32 8 times. So yeah, they're equal. Okay. What about 6 over 2 and 9 over 4? Well, that simplifies to 3. That's like 2.25, not equal. Okay, so this is not a proportion right here. Okay, this one is. It was equal. Okay, how do we show it? This you're probably more familiar with. We can solve this by cross multiplication. Okay, I simplified here. Another way to go about this is to multiply. I'll do it right here. We could have cross multiplied here. 16 times 4 is 64. 2 times 32 is 64. If that cross product, and you take the bottom up to the top, put it on this side, this bottom up to this top side here, if they're equal, then it's proportional. You'll notice here, that's 24, that's 18, not equal. That's another reason, another way to show that that is not a proportion. Okay? That's cross multiplying. I'm pretty sure you've seen that before. Okay? Where that really comes into play is something like this. X over 4 equals 9 over 10. Okay, solving this in a problem here, we want to solve for x. When you see this, we know it's a proportion. We want to find the x to make it proportional so that they're equal to each other. Well, it's kind of tough to do this simplifying stuff, but you can definitely cross multiply here. Okay, 10 times x, I brought it over to the x side, to the top side. Bring this 4 up to the 9 side. 9 times 4 is 36. How do you solve for x? You just divide the 10 out. Okay, so x is equal to 3.6. Okay, another real world example here. Recycling 2,000 pounds of paper saves about 17 trees. How many trees would recycling 5,000 pounds of paper saved. Okay, so we're looking at pounds per trees. So I got pounds per trees, and it's important when you set up your proportion, you stay like this. If you set it up trees over pounds, that's okay. Just stay trees over pounds. And what I mean is this: if we're going to set up our fractions in our proportion as pounds over trees, then I know it's 2,000 pounds equates to 17 trees. So I got to keep this pounds to this number of trees. And it's the number of trees with 5,000 pounds of paper saved. That's what I want to find, that X. How many trees would I save? So I've set it up pounds of trees, pounds of trees. If you did it trees to pounds, both of these would be flipped. But when you cross multiply, you get the same thing. You're still going to get 2,000 times X. You're still going to get 17 times 5,000. Okay? So either way you do it, it sets up the same. Multiply that, you get 85,000. Divide the 2,000 into it, 42.5 trees is what you would save. Okay? Take a look at some examples here. One of the biggest things that we're doing in this section is finding unit rates. If you went 90 miles on 15 gallons, find the unit rate. What it means is how far in 1 gallon or for 1 gallon. Okay? So if I can go 90 miles in 15 gallons, just simplify the fraction. Okay? Or we know it's top divided by the bottom. If you can't figure it out, this always works too. Okay? Either way. 15 doesn't go into there evenly, or does it? Okay, well, let's see. 5 times 15 is 75. What about 6? 6 times 5, 3 to carry, 90. Boom, what do you know, it goes in. So we get 6 when you simplify this. So we get 6 miles for 1 gallon, or 6 miles per gallon. Okay, is what you're getting here. That's the unit rate. Okay. Now we shift gears a little bit. We're solving for P. P is set up in a proportion, 2 equal ratios. Well, cross multiply then. 1.5 P, that's times P. 6 times 10 is 60. Divide out the 1.5. P equals 40. Okay. 60 divided by 1.5 is 40. And our last example, again, it's another unit cost, kind of a real world type thing. Find the unit cost of 2 quarts of OJ for $2.49. So the question is how much for 1 quart? Okay, so we got cost for the amount, AM2, that's amount. So my cost is $2.49 for 2 quarts. Divide that in there. You're going to end up rounding it off. It's going to be $1.25 because the store's always going to round that up to the next penny. Okay, so it's $1.25 for 1 quart. Okay, that's our unit cost right there. All right, we're going to spend some quality time with this in class, making sure we get this squared away. Okay, until then, we'll see you then.